Hello everybody. So today we're going to talk about how to figure out if you are in a plateau. So first thing is you want to make sure that you have all of the data collecting that you possibly can get. So that means you have all of your measurements, you have your weight from the scale, you have progress pictures, and you have your body fat percentage. So if you have all of those things, you've been taking those consistently, and you notice that they are all staying the same, we can now talk about the time period. So if those are all the same, like every single one, if you haven't been doing all of them, start doing them, and then you can actually be accurate with tracking to see whether you're in a plateau or not. So all of them are the same for 3.5 weeks for women, because sometimes it could take that long for you to see like a little difference, or sometimes you're the same for like 3 weeks and all of a sudden you drop. So if you are exactly the same in all 4 of those things for 3.5 weeks, if you are a woman, then you could possibly be in a plateau. Something important to keep in mind is that a lot of times people are not in plateaus. It's kind of an impatience thing. So when we're working out, it's not just going to be linear. So we're not just going to linearly gain muscle. We're not just going to linearly lose fat. It's going to be very up and down. So it means that you're doing it in a sustainable way. And it going up and down like that is completely normal, as long as throughout the month you are seeing progress in the correct direction. But day to day, it could change a lot. Even week to week, it could change a lot. But month to month, that's usually where you'll see the actual progress. So now that you know that, if it is not an impatience thing, if it has been the correct time period, if you have been doing all the data collecting and all of these are the same, then you could be in a plateau. It means, okay, it's time to see what we can do next. When you go into a deficit, as your body weight drops, your BMR also drops. That's your basal metabolic rate. So that also goes down. And then with that, to make up for it, your body tries to bring your TDEE down also. That's your total daily energy expenditure, so how much you burn throughout the day. So a lot of times that means we fidget less, we move a little bit less, we're more sedentary. So things like that start to happen naturally because our body is trying to stay around the same weight. So that is a very normal thing that could happen. So if you are in a plateau, that's all that's going on. We just have to like jar our body and get it to understand like, hey, let's do this, let's go. And there are pieces that we can do and steps that we can take to make sure that that happens. So that is how you figure out if you are in a plateau or not. If it has been like 3.5 weeks and you are a woman, if it has been like 2.5 weeks and you are a man and you are trying to lose weight and you have stayed exactly the same or gone the wrong direction, then you could be in a plateau. If it has not been that amount of time, and if one of those measurements has been changing in the direction that you would like it to go, then you are probably not. Everything is gonna happen at the same time. That's why we wanna take all the different measurements so you know. Because if your weight is staying the same on the scale, if your progress pictures are looking the same to you, but your waist measurement has gone down in your measurements and your body fat percentage has gone down, then you're going in the right direction. Even if the weight on the scale goes up, but your measurements have been going down, that means that it's gaining more muscle, you're losing more fat, and it is just equalizing out like that. So that could be what's happening. That is how you know that you're in a plateau. Next video, we're going to talk about what to do to get out of it. Figure out if you are truly in a plateau or not. So it has been like 3.5 weeks as a woman or 2.5 weeks as a man, and you have made no progress whatsoever. Your measurements are the same, your weight is the same, your body fat percentage is the same, and your progress pictures look exactly the same. So if all of those are the same, and I mean truly the same, if you've gone down like 0.1 or 0.01, that counts that you're going down and you're trying to lose fat. Now let's go ahead and get into what to do next. First, nutrition. That is one of the biggest parts if you're trying to lose fat. One most important is your calories. Are you eating the correct number of calories consistently? If the answer is no, eat them consistently for 2 weeks and then check. And usually everything will be okay. If not, then we might just need to lower them by 200. From there, check the macros. Are your macros good? Are you eating in the correct ranges? And is your protein high enough? Then from there, if those are all good, then you can check and make sure you're eating whole foods. So as many whole foods as you can, getting most of your nutrition from whole foods. Next, let's talk about exercise. So when you are exercising, are you doing it consistently? So usually like at least 3 times a week is perfect. So that is like the sweet spot. You can still make progress with 2 or 1. 3 is like the perfect number. But you are doing your workouts. Let's say, yes, you're consistent with your workouts. When you're doing them, are you making sure you are pushing yourself? So you do have to push yourself. When you're doing it, we go for an RPE of 7 to 8. So that means you only have like 2 reps or 3 reps left in reserve. So for example, if you're doing some shoulder presses and your goal is to get to 12, you get to 12. If somebody holds a gun to your head and tells you do more, and you cannot do more than 2 or 3, then you've done the correct weight and you have pushed yourself the correct amount. So you want to get yourself very close to failure, about 2 or 3 reps away from failure for every exercise that you do. And keep in mind that because that is subjective, that's going to change very much throughout your days and throughout your week. As long as you are subjectively pushing yourself to that number, then you're good. So check that next. Consistency, and then are you pushing yourself hard enough? Next would be daily activity. Check your daily activity, check your steps, make sure you're taking at least like 7,500 and start trying to move it up, start taking a little bit more, and make sure that your NEAT is there too. So you're doing random things throughout the day, you're not just sitting there not moving at all. And then the last thing that could be playing a role is sleep. So are you getting a quality 8 hours of sleep? If you are not, then that means you are not fully able to recover and your body is responding accordingly. Another thing that I throw in there as well is stress. So are your stress levels extremely high? Are you having chronic stress daily? That could be playing a big role as well because your body is going to respond to that too. Sleep, you want to make sure you are sleeping at least 8 hours, quality sleep. And then the other thing is your stress level. Make sure your stress is low and do anything that you can to start making that easier on yourself too. So that could be like talking to a therapist, getting some tools and things you can use. That could mean taking some more stuff off your schedule, more positive self-talk, things like that. Once you guys lock in all of those things, I'm sure that if you are truly in a plateau, one of those things could be lacking. If nothing is lacking at all, then changing up the calories is usually what we need to do next, because you might accidentally be eating in maintenance. Also, if you are using MyFitnessPal or if you're using anything like that and you have your watch connected to it and your watch tells you how many calories you burn during your workouts, and so you're eating more, I would not recommend using that. Your watch has no clue how many calories you're burning. That treadmill you're using has no clue how many calories you're burning. It goes off of your heart rate, and everybody's body is different. Make sure you guys are not using your watch to track your calories because that is not accurate. So those are the steps to get yourself over that plateau if you are truly in a plateau. And then after that, a lot of it is patience. You're going to have to test these things out a couple weeks at a time, and then you'll have to take all your measurements and progress checks again and see what happens. So that's why it gets really nice to have a trainer or just to have somebody to tell you like, okay, hey, it's time for this, or hey, it's time for that. Because then you have somebody that can help you through these things. And that just makes it much easier. You have a lot less on your plate, and you have somebody that can guide you if you need some guidance. So you're not having to like look all over the internet, like trying to figure out, am I in a plateau? Like, what am I doing? Why am I going backwards? And it just saves you so much stress and so much time.